So today we will discuss about the digestion in men, like human digestive system. So before going ahead, you must know that what is digestion now. What actually digestion is. Digestion is a simple process of breaking down. A simple process of breaking down of simple components in of complex components into the simplest ones. For example, if I'm having a complex food molecule, okay, so it means it is insoluble, it is insoluble, it is complex, so it cannot be diffused in the cell, it is indiffusible. It is indiffusible, like, so it in the process of digestion we actually convert these molecules into the soluble ones. We will convert these complex ones into the smaller ones, right? And now they will be soluble in water, soluble, right? They will be in more simpler form. In simple form, they will be diffusible, right? Now they will be diffusible. So what is digestion? Digestion is a process in which these insoluble, complex and indiffusible molecules are converted into soluble, simple and diffusible molecules. We can say that these are macromolecules, and these are micro ones. These are micro molecules. Now they may include, like, we are having four types of molecules, which are carbohydrates, right? Then we are having lipids, we are having protein, we are having nucleic acids. So these are the basic four types of biomolecules, right? But now these macromolecules will be converted into micromolecules, which will be, like, the carbohydrate will be converted into glucose, right? It is the macro one. For example, if we are eating maltose, or if we are eating sucrose, so that will be converted into glucose. Lipid will be converted into fatty acids, plus glycerol, right? Protein will be converted into amino acids, right? And nucleic acids will be converted into nucleotide. Right? So here in digestion, what we do, digestion is simply a process in which insoluble, complex and indiffusible substances are converted into soluble, simple and diffusible substances, right? So now let's talk about human digestive system. So talking about our body. Let's talk about our body, right? So our body is a hollow cavity hollow drum-like cavity, right? It's a hollow drum cavity, right? Our body is a hollow drum-like cavity, and we can say that it is a coelomic. It is coelomic cavity, which is further divided into two cavities, right? Now first is thoracic cavity, right? And the second is abdominal cavity. Right, second is abdominal cavity. So in the end of abdominal cavity, we are having an other cavity which is known as pelvic cavity, where actually pelvic girdle is present. Basically their reproductive organs are present over there. So basically reproductive organs are present on the pelvic cavity, but our body is divided into two cavities, thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity, right? So now let's talk about the digestive system of a human, right? Let's talk about first of all simple structure, like what are the organs involved. So let me give you an example. So let's take this picture, right? Or first of all, take this simple picture. So as you can see this picture, what are the organs involved here, right? Let's take this. So first of all, we are having mouth. So as you can see over here, first of all, we are having mouth. First of all, here we are having, you can see we are having here mouth. Right, then after mouth we are having here pharynx. Actually pharynx is a station, right? Pharynx it is a station where it is divided into two parts, larynx and esophagus. Larynx is the place in which the air is passed, and the esophagus is the place in which the food molecules are passed. So second is esophagus. Right, after esophagus we are having here stomach. Right, we are having stomach. After stomach we are having here small intestine. Right, then we are having large intestine. Then we are having, and last we are having rectum. So let me explain you this, what I have told you. Okay, so as you can see over here, there's a first mouth, the food will be ingested, then it will be moved to esophagus, then to stomach. Now what is stomach? Stomach is actually a J-shaped organ, right? We will talk about every detail. It is a J-shaped glandular organ, right? Then there is small intestine. There are three parts of small intestine. First is duodenum, jejunum and ileum, right? So duodenum is the first part and ileum is the last part of the small intestine. Then the food is moved to large intestine. Now what is large intestine? It is divided into three regions. First of all, it is cecum, right? And with cecum there is appendix 2. Then we are having colon, and here then we are having rectum. Actually, rectum is a part over here, right? So first the food will be moved from mouth to esophagus, then to stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and then the rectum. So, and from rectum it will be passed out of the body through a opening known as anus, in which particles will be there. There will be undigested particles. Undigested particles will be there in the substances which will pass out from our body, or you can easily say this is ingestion, right, or defecation. This is defecation, right? So now let's talk about mouth. Now what's the difference between mouth and buccal cavity? What's the difference between mouth and buccal cavity, right? So mouth is actually a opening. Mouth is opening. So from where the food is ingested, the food is taken inside the body, is that opening is known as mouth. And mouth comprises of only two parts, which first of all is lips and second is vestibules. So it is comprised of only two parts, lips, upper lip and lower lip. So it is comprised of only, it is a what is mouth? Mouth is just an opening from where the food molecules are taken inside, right? Now it is comprised of two things. First of all, lips, upper lip, lower lip, and then vestibule. And what is vestibule? Vestibule is a, you can say, a fleshy substance. Let me show you the picture of mouth. So from here you can see the vestibules, right? Here you can see, easily you can see here. Yes, over here you can see these are the vestibules. This is, this is lip. This is also lips, right? But over here you can see this one part. Wait a minute. This one part. These are known as vestibules. These are the fleshy sheet or something, like you can say this is a fleshy substance or fleshy structure is known as vestibule. So what the mouth is comprised of two parts, the vestibules and the lips, lower lip, upper lip, and then the vestibule. Okay, then now let's talk about the oral cavity, or don't say oral cavity, buccal cavity. Now the buccal cavity is comprised of, first of all, it is comprised of jaws, which are making the boundaries, right? It is making the jaws which are making the boundaries. The upper jaw, and the lower jaw. Then we are having, after jaws, we are having the roof, which is made by palate, right? Now we are having, actually palate is making the roof. Palate is making the roof. So there are two types of palate: hard palate and soft palate, right? So actually hard palate is present on the roof, and the soft palate is present on the posture side, and it is attached like in the mid of the soft palate there is present uvula. Now what is uvula? So uvula separates, actually it separates nasal cavity and buccal cavity. So uvula is actually a muscular sheet, or you can say a fleshy structure, which separates the nasal cavity and the buccal cavity, and it is also supported by there is an arc which is supporting uvula. Let me explain you by a picture, right? Okay, here I'm having a picture. So as you can see over here, right? So now let's talk about the oral cavity, right? First of all, here the jaws are present. These jaws, this jaw are counted in the oral cavity. Then there is the roof. You can see there is a roof which is made by hard palate, right? Here you can see. From here you can see. Wait a minute. What I've done, right? You can see hard palate, right? If the hard palate is over there, which is making the roof. Then on the posture side we are having soft palate. On the posture side we are having this soft palate. We are having soft palate over here, you can see, and then in the mid of the soft palate we are having this uvula, right? Let me draw this for another color. Then we are having this uvula over here. Then there is an other, like the structural, the muscular structure which I was talking about. That is, let me draw this for another. That is Plato Glossil Arc. You can see over here. You can see this over here, right? Plato Glossil Arc. Now what is the work of Plato Glossil Arc? The actual work of Plato Glossil Arc is it helps in the movement of uvula. Now what is uvula? Uvula separates nasal cavity from the oral cavity, right? Then it is a muscular sheet which helps in the movement of uvula whenever you are swelling a food, or when you are yawning. So it helps the uvula to get extended, to get elongated. So Plato Glossil Arc is there to help uvula. So I guess the structure of oral cavity is clear to you. The jaws, right? First jaw, the roof, soft, which is made of a hard palate, soft palate, uvula, and Plato Glossil Arc, right? So I hope this is, let me show you another picture which I was having. This one. This will make your concept more clear, right? Here, let's do that. So now you can see over here we are having hard palate, soft palate. This is soft palate, right? then this is Eula, then this is Plato Glossil Arc, right, which is helping the uvula. Then we're having just jaws, which are making the boundaries, right? The palate are making the roof, and the uvula. So this all, and the tongue. This base is made by, obviously, tongue. How we can forget this tongue? This is tongue. Obviously, the base is made by tongue. So I hope the concept of oral cavity and oral cavity or buccal cavity is clear to you. Okay, now here. So you can simply say two jaws, palate, hard palate, soft palate, Plato Glossil Arc, Eula and tongue make the buccal cavity, and mouth is comprised of vestibule and lips. So I hope the concept is clear to you guys. Thanks for watching the video.